Pipe down this thing.
Miss McKinney, please take your seat. Thank you. Guess the mic's working. What was I saying? Seems like we were just here only 3 years ago. Welcome to Olney Alumni Association. I'll preface it by saying louder, louder. I've rarely been told to speak louder, but I'll try. Maybe if I take this off, is that clear? We are allowed to go maskless at the mic, apparently. I'm John Stanley, class of 71. We have some partisan right here on the side. We have a little bit different arrangement than normal because of the facts of the last couple of years where this class of 70, and this class of 71, were denied the opportunity to have this event for the last 2 years. So the current 50-year class, after a little bit of arm twisting, graciously allowed us to share the forward bench with us. But they'll have their moment. We'd like to start with the traditional roll call of the classes.
We have a moment of silence.
Anne-Marie reminds me we should have a moment of silence first.
Thank you for that. Good evening. I'm Anne-Marie Tabor, class of 1979. I've been librarian at Olney since 2010 and development and alumni relations director since about 2017. Can everyone hear me? Thank you. It is my honor and privilege to stand here once again after a couple of years for the traditional roll call of the alumni of Olney Friends School. I thank you, each and every one, for being here to reunite with old friends and to celebrate our newest alumni. It is wonderful to see you in person this year. It is also a little weird for us, after 2 years of virtual reunions on Zoom, to see faces. Thank you to all those of you who have joined with us in that way, virtually, back in 2020 and 21, and those who have come back for belated reunions in person this year. If you have not signed the guest book, please do so in the main office before you leave. Thank you and welcome also to all who are unable to join us in person and maybe watching our live stream on Facebook or YouTube. Whether you are watching now or later, I invite you to participate and be counted in this roll call by commenting on the video with your name and class year. You, the Olney Friends School alumni, old and new, are part of a global community of mutual support and friendship. Both figuratively and often literally, we are family. It is our hope that you take advantage of your alumni office and various virtual or face-to-face reunions to provide supportive community to one another as well as to your school. For instance, if you are on Facebook, you can use the OFS Alumni Association group to reach out to like-minded friends to seek and offer friendship, mentoring, or advice, or travel contacts around the world. We have alumni on every continent and many nations. In lieu of a print directory, which we haven't done since 2007 and would be less practical in these days of increased mobility and online communication, you are welcome to contact your alumni office at any time to seek contact information for specific persons and or places. As I call your class year or range of years, I ask that you stand and remain standing just long enough for my associate Shay and I to accurately count your numbers. Again, those watching online are asked to comment there with your name and year. Do we have any members from the 75-year class of 1947? My mother, Frances Tabor. How many members do we have from the classes between the class of 1952, the 70-year class? I'm not knowing to expect anyone in person, but 5 of them at least will be having a Zoom reunion in a few days. Who do we have from the years up to 1956? (1957), the 65-year class. Anyone from 1958 to 1961? (1962), the 60-year class. Crickets. However, 6 of those have written in a note to the Olney Current, which will be coming out within the next month or so. Who do we have from 1963 to 66? (1967) is the 55-year class. (1968 through 71). Might have to count you guys later. 1972, the 50-year class. Woo! 1973 to 1976. 1977 is the 45-year class. (1978 through 81). Oh, yeah. 1982, the 40-year class. 1983 to 91. 1992, the 30-year class. 'Who do we have from the years 1993 through 2001? The 20-year class of 2002. There were 2 that might have come. Things happen. Do we have anyone from the years 2003 through 2011? The class of 2012, the 10-year class, hoped to send one representative who I haven't seen. Anyone from 2013 through 21? Now the biggest class, perhaps, honorary alumni. Thank you. And now, Lisa will introduce the 50-year class welcoming the new alumni.
Hi, I'm Lisa Kayard, class of 72. Whoever thought we'd be up here back in the days when we were students. So on behalf of the class of 72, the 50-year class, we'd like to warmly welcome the class of 2022 to the Olney Alumni Association, and know that you are joining a select group of very important and special people who reach around the world and support each other and cheer each other on, and we are warmly welcoming you to join our ranks. Now, it's an important responsibility because we are all asked to stay in touch with each other and continue the Olney spirit, and when you're able to help support the school by sending financial contributions. So please warmly welcome the class of 2022 to the Olney Alumni Association.
Hi, I'm Mike Penn, and on behalf of the class of 2022, we accept your invitation to join the Olney alumni system, and wait. uh, uh, and we will support the schools in the future. And in the 15 years, we will oh my God, to welcome the new class of alums to the Olney Friends Alumni System Association.
The Ohio Yearly Meeting of Friends is the parent of Olney Friends School, and it has been a tradition for many years that the yearly meeting presents the graduating seniors with a special book of devotions. And I would like to do that now on behalf of the yearly meeting because I'm a member of that committee.
All right, thank you very much, Anne-Marie. And I hope you can all hear me with my mask on. I'm sorry I wasn't around in the tent. I'm just now coming up for air, having had a bout of illness. So you won't see too much of me, but my strength is back and I've been cleared to be out and about. I just want to make sure that no one misinterprets my, lack of being around as I usually am for either arrogance or not wanting to see you, because that's what I've been waiting for the past few months. And in fact, I was very worried that I wouldn't be here today or tomorrow. But as it turns out, here I am, being cleared to be here. And I'm so moved to see friends here, supporters. I just look here in the audience and see people that have been receiving notes from, advice, people who contributed so much to the life of the school, and we cannot say thank you too many times, and just how happy we are to see you. And also for the students to experience our collective energy in this room. The meeting house is always has always been a special place to all of us. So it's only fitting that after 3 years of not being together, we are here in this room again casting the school in its rightful tradition and foundation of Quaker worship, Quaker testimony. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming back, and for those who are watching online. I'm going to do my best to project. My mother told me that I project naturally, but hopefully that will work out for those who are watching online. I have a few duties tonight. The first one is to introduce to the Alumni Association new honorary alums, typically those faculty members or volunteers who've contributed significantly to the life of the school. And so then I present them to the association, and I think John over here usually does not object on behalf of the association. So we'll start out with someone that is not here, I don't think, but our chef and kitchen manager, Nicola Stringham, who has just really brought a lot of life back to the school. This has been a year when I've had the least complaints about food. There have still been some, but by least I mean their magnitudes, the orders of magnitude. So what I've received are all the compliments about his calm demeanor, and on any day when he's not happy, it makes me look, his anger doesn't really ever come out, and that is really something you need when you're dealing with our kind of community. And so we really value Nicholas and his team, Aaron and Melissa, and I present him in absentia to the association to be admitted as an honorary alum. The second person is Katrina Costaro, who is over there in the third row. Please stand, Katrina, so people get to see you, those who don't know you. Yes, Katrina has been here. She's taught financial literacy. She's done other things in the dorms. She's helped with the part of just making life better in theatrics and all, and we'll be back next year. We found Katrina to be a refreshing presence, and also very calm and strict at the same time. I think one always has to strike that balance in our setting. So I present Katrina as well for admission the association as an honorary alum. And third person is Batya Globerman, who came to us last summer, starting out as an art teacher and also an admissions counselor. Now she's become our director of admissions, and it shows already in the numbers that I reported to the board this Wednesday. Things are looking up, and much of that's because Buddy has been in the system, and we've worked very well together, also with Danielle in marketing, and we just keep going. And this is the tricky thing about our schools, that when you're looking for numbers, the temptation is always to admit anyone with a heartbeat and a breath. But when you are trying to form our kind of community, there are certain things you see. I'll give an example. If a student doesn't want to be here, you're not going to force that student to be here, because we definitely ask a lot of our students and we give a lot in return. But if what we are asking is too much and doesn't really jive with the student, then they are not really meant to be here, no matter what. So we would be doing a disservice to that student by having them around. So we've made some of those hard decisions with Badia, but most of the decisions have been positive, including some students we've asked to go back a grade, and they've understood why we've asked them to do that. Because the 11th and 12th grade at Olney, those are very difficult years. And if you're coming from a school that is not at that same intellectual standard, you end up diving in the deep end with no real supports. Although eventually, if you can handle it, you'll swim, as Sepo and Nico will let you know later. So there we go. Here's Badia, another special person, to present it to the Alumni Association. Welcome, welcome. So those are the three. Any objections, John?
No objection.
I told you. There we go. So congratulations. My second duty today is a tearful one, and that is to just mention to those who might not know that after, I think, 7 years of service, Connie Collins will be moving on to go on back to school to follow one of her passions. I hope I'm right with the number of years, Connie. 7. Excellent. So please stand up, Connie. She's been here. Connie's been with us, leading the Mod Dome, teaching Spanish, different kinds of activities, including the different games they always play in February that end up entrapping someone. It's always intrigued me how she does that. Pet training and other things. We wish you all the very best, Connie, and please do not forget your way back to Olney. We are here. Don Gwindon always tells me that people leave Olney either angry or, full of tears, nothing in between. And the thing that he doesn't like is when they leave angry, because I'm leaving angry. That's the only way I can get away from this place. We are so grateful that you're leaving on a positive note, and I heard of some tears last night, so that's okay. But we're just so happy that you've left a positive mark here and ended on a good note. And who knows, there may be another chapter, but just know that you're going with our very best and warmest wishes to you. And you won't be so far away in Columbus, so we'll find you. And we know a member of the class of 72 who lives in Columbus, and he always says, come on home, come on home. I think we'll take him up on it as Mike Hernandez. And then secondly, you all know this is not a farewell, this is not a goodbye, and we just have to put that on the record because that's not how he told us. Jamie Zavitz is going to take a leave of absence for at least a year. Jamie is all the way in the back. I suspect he knew I would say something about him. So the Zavitz family has been foundational here at Olney. What they mean to the school speaks for itself. What Jamie means for us also to us speaks for itself. He's just a good example of an only graduate of a Quaker who does things and not just talk about things. He actually does the things he talks about, and those are the things we want to model. Uh, my son Chris always says James is his favorite teacher because he always has an activity on his mind, something fun to do, and we've seen a lot of that this spring in particular. So, Jamie, we recognize you and we wish you a wonderful year away, and we'll be calling you to come back because you said leave of absence, nothing else, and that's how we are taking it. Jamie, please don't let the Canadians keep you there for too long. For those who don't know Jamie, I'll have him stand up for recognition. All right, now my third and last duty for tonight is to give you a few headlines of the things that we've been through this year. You will hear more about that tomorrow at commencement, but I just wanted to say these last 3 years, pandemic years, have taught us so much about who we are and so much about how our values driven school, how important it is to our world. Just look at what's going on now, all the sadness. I can't really start to put myself in the shoes of parents who drop off their children at school not knowing whether there will be an attack or not that day. That just puts a knot in my stomach. And at the same time, we have the counterpoint of our school where that really is not a worry for us. And, sometimes we can take those kinds of peaceful things for granted and then have that kind of stark reminder as we had this week and then in a few weeks before about this valuable place. The students, all grades, I already told them, when was it? Last week, they get a real gold star from me because they've made this year incredible in the way they've approached their self-gov, in the way they have raised issues they wanted to sort out, in the way they have even taken in bitter pills, bitter medicine, and done it with humility, and also the faculty in times when they've had to adjust ways that they'd set themselves up to accommodate requests from the students. But the students took the lead on the tone, and that is something I've said for over these past few years. It is all in the tone, how you approach a situation, how you start it off, in many ways marks the way it ends. And students, I'm so proud of you for how you handled, conducted yourselves this year. So it's just been incredible. Of course, you are teenagers, so we expect some a level of acting up. But I'll tell you, you've been awesome. And the seniors, you've been through quite the grueling time, and I'm glad that you've made it to the end. Also proud of you. I'll save the things I want to say about you for your commencement, and also say them to your parents. As far as our faculty, we continue to have a good team, and emphasize that word team. Uh, there are times when we can't do everything, or times when we have to step in and take charge of an area we know nothing about. And this is one group, I've never been part of a staff where people will step in to do things they've never done before because they have to be done. It may not be their comfort level, but they get in and do them. And so that's also a refreshing thing. I say all these things because many times after you've been here for a while, you take things for granted, like that's just the way the world is. No, that's not the way the world is. Not everyone enjoys working in teams. Not everyone steps up for someone else. Not everyone knows that we are interdependent and that in fact we get a sense of meaning from the work that we do together, and that in it there's some level of motivation. And that is the special thing that we are doing here. I can't emphasize enough the level of togetherness. In fact, if there's any word I could use, it would be that word of togetherness and the community that alumni always come back for. The financials will come to you in our annual report, again also motivated by an alum. And as I say, I love hearing from you. You can't imagine the kinds of feedback I receive from alumni, from Bible verses to, certain criticisms, to pieces of advice. I love all of them. And please just keep sending them, because again, when you send them, it shows me that you care about the school. Only the one who doesn't care won't send in anything, won't even say a word. But I receive them, little notes, voicemails, emails, and I'm so grateful for every one of you. And I will say yet again that we are putting in place things that are going to help sustain this school. And as you've seen, for our appeal for this year is on the foundation. Let me look for another one. Things that are not too appealing, like foundations of buildings. That's where we are starting this year. And yet those are the most important things. I'm sure you've seen the appeal, waterproofing of the main, the Gwindon Dome, and the Whittier House. And we hope that alumni will join us in this effort. Many of you have already sent in contributions. And for those who cannot, maybe you'll consider the annual fund as well. But all that being said, there's always something I'm asked. How are you people doing on tuition? Again, together with Batia, Joe, and Tina, we've been able to collect a lot more net tuition this year compared to the past few years, and we are even looking better for the coming year. Again, those are hard decisions, things that we never would like to do. We don't like to overturn down students because they can't afford to come, but we have to if we are going to sustain ourselves financially and not have to do a Hail Mary. And that is something that's close to me, to not do a Hail Mary to alumni and get everyone panicked. So we are doing some things, bits and pieces, slowly but surely, because as you know, turning around an organization that's been around for almost 200 years doesn't happen in 5 or 4 years or 6 years. It takes a while, and we are moving in the right direction. So I'll end there on that note, and I'll say to Pamela, who after my first year here said, "Are you going to stay for another year?" I say, "Pamela, I meant it when I interviewed that I was going to stay, and I'm here because it's a meaningful job together with the team that we have on the ground." So Pamela has been 4 years. I'm still going strong. I haven't lost my passion for the school, and we'll keep going together. Thank you very much, alumni and friends.
Just to satisfy my curiosity, something that occurred to me here, to kind of demonstrate, our class song was Changes by Phil Oakes, so I wanted to do a quick test here. Could you please raise your hand if you were born in a foreign country or currently reside in a foreign country? Who here was born in a foreign country, resides in a foreign country? I would think that a good portion of the crowd. Our mother, when she was a student here in the late 1930s, our mother was one of 2 foreign students, the other being her older sister. She was Canadian. So things have changed a little bit. And here's a question for everybody. Who knows how far away Tasmania is, or exactly where Tasmania is located? I said this again, and once again it comes time kind of to pay tribute to our beloved Gretchen, who about the last class reunion, maybe 6 years ago, I had a globe as a prop then for people that didn't know where Tasmania is. So visualize the globe here. Olney is up here, Tasmania is down there. And she's come back for every significant reunion, plus, as long as we can remember, and she's lived there, what, 20 years now? 17, yeah. So anytime any of you were trying to recruit classmates to come back for reunions, and, oh, it's so far, blah, 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 just say, is it as far as Tasmania? And, feel free to borrow that information.
John, I know you always want to claim stuff for the class of 71, best class ever.
No.
Say how she came to the park. She was actually coming home for the summer to visit her family.
Yes. But she manages to work hard. For those not familiar with Quakerism, this is called eldering a little brother. Okay. Thanks, Paul. Okay. And by the way, we've decided in honor of the folks ahead of us that graciously allowed us to sit here. We're not OBEC, Olney's best ever class. We're one of Olney's best, UBEC, one of Olney's best ever classes here. So I think that can apply to all three classes at least. We're going to segue into our final segment here, which is the memorial segment. And I would like to pay tribute to someone else that was foreign born. That was a member of our class for our freshman and sophomore year. For the foreign students here, the sign that all these old people showed up is a sign of the bonds that this place forms, and we hope that you have the same benefit with your class since you're able to come back repeatedly and enjoy each other's company. And before you, the other lesson we have is you'll be over here before you know it. Time is about to go into warp drive for you when you hit college. Bruce Crowe was a member of our freshman and sophomore class, and he was born in Lebanon. Came here, I roomed with him my freshman year. He spoke Arabic in his sleep. He spoke some French too, I believe. Eric could confirm. He left after our sophomore year to go back to Lebanon, intended to come back, but for whatever reason, he never came back. He never came back to the school, as far as I know. I did manage to catch up with him and spend an afternoon with him probably 40 years after we'd last seen each other, by which time he had been, for his career, he was an Antioch Orthodox priest, living in New England, married, as there's allowed in their church, and with a college-age son, who was quite stunned to find that his prayerful, quiet father used to be a fan of the Rolling Stones. One of the benefits and the detriments of the information age is that if you lose track with someone, there's always Googling their name, and I Googled Bruce's name a couple of years ago at the height of COVID because I hadn't heard from him, didn't have any information, and I found out that he had passed from liver cancer the previous winter in Washington, D.C. area. So basically the message is hold tight on to folks, you never know how long you have them. So we do this segment now for people that we've lost since our last gathering from the Olney family. So I'd like to enter the name of Bruce Crowe. And I believe John Stuckey has someone from his class that he wants to talk a little bit about.
Well, you may not know it now, but you form bonds with people from this unique experience. And it's odd being up here on the facing bench. I see the fans up there, and I was sweating to death up there about 52 years ago, looking down, thinking, this is a bunch of crap. And then I look back there in anticipation of 30 years ago, sitting there, anticipating, looking for my parents and my family and my friends. Are they going to be here? When are they going to come? And now I'm up here in one of the nicest, coolest times I've ever been in here with I don't know if it's being on the facing bench or what, but seeing the breeze blow, the, and my friend Nathan's just around the corner in the cemetery. And we started here together. And I was with him just in July before he died, about a month. And I just wanted to do something, and I did it a little too late. We're having a music thing this weekend that he would have loved. Now I'm angry that he can't be here. So anyone that wants to come tomorrow and number one, plant a tree for Nate along the lane with Leonard. I don't know where Leonard is or what. I guess I heard he was sick or something, but we have a tree from the Tabor Farm, which will have dual significance. It's a sentimental tree from the Tabor Farm, and it's Nate's tree. We're going to plant it along the walk. And then we'll have a big afternoon of music that Nate would have really added to, and I'll miss him. And like I have forged friendships with all of you, so many people for 50 years, Nate's the really first one that I've actually lost and felt that. So tomorrow, please, tree planting at 11:15, I think it will be, just before lunch.